legacy they leave behind, and a lot of them, had opportunities to come out, and it'll be their last chance. So really want to challenge our fan base to come out and support these guys to end it right at home, have an opportunity to do some things some teams have not done around here before, and they can do that by finishing it right Saturday. Playing a really good Kentucky game, Kentucky team. I think Mark Stoops is a really good head coach. He's done a tremendous job up there. The energy and enthusiasm in that game last year when we played up there was incredible to me. It's not really how I remembered it when I was here before as a player. Their offensive staff does a great job. They've got a senior quarterback who's playing really well, one of the best backs in the SEC, a veteran offensive line group, and some really big receivers. Then defensively, they play a similar style to us, big guys, 3-4 defense, and they do a really good job as well. So the challenge is in front of us with a great Kentucky team rolling in here that I know they want nothing more than to come in here and try to prove they're the best team in the East. So we get an opportunity to play them at home, and it'll be a senior day, so we're excited about it. I'll open it from there.
Kirby, when you talk about Benny Snell, I think if memory serves, in last year's game, they had a scoring drive that was almost entirely his runs off of direct snaps. Having faced some of that with Kerryon Johnson, do they kind of go about it different with Auburn and Kentucky, or is it similar? And having some prep with Johnson, will that help you guys?
Yeah, they have some similar plays. They might present them differently. I think Eddie does a really good job of each week, having a different presentation of what people label Wildcat. And they'll get a good picture of looking at what Kerryon did in that package. Auburn does it a little different than them, but Kentucky does a really good job. And their percentage of Wildcat based on this year was actually higher last year versus us. And that's usually predicated off how much success. I mean, if it's working, you do it more. And they had a couple drives last year, particularly one at the end that they ran almost the whole series Wildcat. And they're good at it. They're physical. Our kids talked last year about that was the most physical game they played in from a defensive standpoint because it was so much grinding and hitting, and they pride themselves on that. So it'll be a great challenge for us. When we didn't stop the run real well last week, we're getting an opportunity this week to play a team that is hell-bent on running the ball.
You said after the game the big thing was going to be how your team responded to the loss. What have you seen so far, and what do you want to see?
Well, first thing I've seen is guys come in here with a good attitude yesterday, ready to work, good spirits, leaders talking, communicating, got to be around the players and eat with them yesterday. These guys, they'll respond the right way. They're made of the right stuff, and that's all we can ask them to do, is come in with a really good attitude, get to work, expect them to do that. I'm excited about moving on, getting a chance to go get to work on Kentucky today, and that's what they have to do. The focus for us is totally on Big Blue because we got to go out there and stop these guys.
Kirby, obviously you guys are having despite what happened last week, still having a great season, and you talked about it being a wake-up call for the players. Does it also give the coach, is a game like that, kind of make you, I don't want to say circle the wagons, but a chance to hit the reset button as a coaching staff and maybe think that, it's a course correction type thing or something you may want to start doing a little differently, when you have a game that turns out the way that one did?
Yeah, I think anytime you get a chance to look at everything from that standpoint, you do. I mean, there's a lot of good things that happen in the kicking game, but there's a lot of bad things that happen. It wasn't like they went out there and whipped us in special teams. It's a situation where we got to continue to get better. We think of special teams as one of our best weapons, and we want to be aggressive in our special teams and use it as a weapon. Well, today is a chance for us to go out and get better on special teams, and we're going to try to improve that. It's the same thing on offense and defense. Today's another opportunity for us to go out and improve and get better and develop our team to get better so that we play better in this next game.
How much of a concern was the tackling in that game, and how much of that was just what Auburn does offensively? How much carryover do you worry about for Kentucky?
I've been really concerned about our tackling all year. I haven't been happy with it anytime. I think when you measure tackling by how many one-on-one situations you get in and how many of those you win, and typically our ratio has been pretty the same all year. It's not been real good. People measure things differently. When there's two guys standing there to tackle a guy and one of them makes it, it's a whole lot different than a one-on-one situation. We lost a lot of one-on-one situations, but we lost a lot of one-on-one situations throughout the year. So when you go to tackle a back like Snell and King and these backs they've got some good backs. So we've got to improve in that area, but that's been the case all year long. Good thing is we get to practice against some pretty good backs in our practices, we get to thud them, we don't get to tackle them. But we got to do a better job for sure.
Kirby, obviously that game was a little bit lopsided Saturday night. I'm just wondering, did you feel like, I mean, I don't feel like you might be a team that's 23 points different than Auburn, but were fundamental flaws exposed in that game? Or did you feel like, it's one of those cases where the momentum gets involved and a team kind of gets hot and kind of snowballs?
I'll be honest with you, I'm worried about Kentucky. I mean, I really am. I know you want to ask about that and focus on that. Our concern, I mean, we had mistakes. We had really undisciplined penalties, things I talked about in the post-game presser. But, our players, we told them we moved on. We got to go get ready for Kentucky, and that's really where our focus is.
Coach, real quick, how does a loss benefit you? I mean, as you get ground through the season, one loss can actually help you finish out that season.
I think you refocus, you recenter like we talked about earlier. You've got to really focus on the things you didn't do well and the things you do. But it's not any difference after a loss or a win. Because after every win, we've come in here and said we got to refocus and recenter on the new opponent, the new team, and not let that carry over. It's no different this time. We got to refocus, recenter on who we're about to play. We got to improve the things we messed up. Every game we've won, we've had areas of concern for me. So we've got to continue to do that, and our players have got to kind of embrace that and understand that Kentucky's the target, and we got to go out and play our best game because they've got a really good football team.